Let me take this opportunity to thank the government of His Excellency, the President, William Samoei Ruto, whom we are with here, to have waived any payment on visas. All of you, none of you paid any penny on a visa. And if there is any, here he is, you will be refunded your money. And let me tell you, it is his policy, and he has preached it everywhere on the continent, wherever he goes, that he wants Africa of free visas, so that he can be able to promote free movement of persons on this continent, free trade amongst ourselves, to promote intertrade and ease flow of communication on our continent. That is part of what he has been preaching. We thank you for these bold steps, Mr. President, and continue preaching this. Most of people say, why is no court talking about the cost of living? Why court is not talking about issues related to taxation and so on? Why court is quiet when people are doing this? But I can assure you, and here the president is, I have time and again engaged the president. He has given us his side of his story, and we have given him our side of story. And we have given ourselves time bound that we expect things to change. As a labor leaders, we can attest here today that you remain fearless leader who never shy away from receiving criticisms. Let me tell my colleagues to know that. Considering that I personally, as Francis Atwoli, Secretary General of Kotu, for so many years, I have been one of your great critics, who before your election, I criticized you on every proposal you made to the electorate. But as a true Democrat in our democratic society, after your election, you said, you guy, come around, let's sit down, and we agreed to work together and promote workers and Kenyans' interests at large. That is a true reflection of a true democratic leader. When my colleagues all over the world, they were worried that, oh, maybe this will have to be what happens maybe elsewhere, you changed the narrative, it became positive, and you moved closer to us more than any other organization. And we thank you for that. And I think that is a very good example for the young generation and those who aspire to be leaders for the purposes of creating a united nation, a nation that cares about other leaders and respects the views of them or whatever time from those who are opposed to them. You have also continued, not only that, you didn't stop there. You have also continued to engage workers, always have given us audience, to which we remain grateful as we equally continue championing for the aspirations of working men and women in our country. From 40 years or 35 years now, up to where I am, if you close that door there, and you ask your police officers to carry out inspection in our pockets and in our handbags and extend it to our rooms or our cars, you will be required to have cartons and cartons to fill the tablets of the medicines, capsules, and what type of medicines that these people work with. We live on tablets, we live on medicines, and we need to have a working health insurance authority. And that is why I support that. I will be there. If anything goes wrong, Your Excellency, I will raise an alarm, because that is the area of our concern. Africa is awake, And as workers, we must always unite, for we have nothing to lose but our chains. In the pursuit of a brighter future for our workers, we must acknowledge the pressing need to build skills across the African continent, because our workforce deserves the opportunity to thrive in an era of rapid change. You can do so if you are working closely with governments. I want to thank governments, not only our government here. When we were in our meeting in Geneva, that is the governing body where I represent workers in this region. Sorry, Sister Jacqueline, it's a little bit painful. But government supported us to make sure that we win a vote to refer the rights to strike to the International Court of Justice. Where there is an arbitration, where people are not understanding, let other people arbitrate us. And if you are not working with governments together, moving with governments together, they would have left us alone. And that is why there are things under social tripartism that both employers, workers, and governments must move towards one line. And the three are anchored at the international labor organization like this. That is why, after our elections and our party lost to his party, to the party of the president, I told my colleagues, I go back to where I belong. Because where I belong is in social tripartism, social dialogue, and an area of collective bargaining. Now, as the world is gearing up towards the COP28 that will be taking place in Dubai, I call upon all of us not to forget the clarion call for just transition that ensures that as we move towards a sustainable future, the rights and well-being of workers are safeguarded. But I have also told my colleagues that just transition does not only mean our areas of comfort being safeguarded by this clarion call. It also means that we are transiting from the current situation of agitation to next level. We cannot continue, remain in the agitation which has been our background for years. We must move to a next level from agitation to articulation, so that we can attract both our employers and government to sit down and see what is good for workers and what do we need to have. Furthermore, we must remain true to our commitment of ending gender abuses in our workplaces through foster environments where all workers, regardless of gender, can contribute their talents without fear of discrimination or harassment.